Hello and welcome to the Share Talk Bulletin Board Heroes on Tuesday, the 12th of June. Starting off with Ariana Resources, where it looks as though we're finally underway in terms of an upside breakout. Ideally, I suppose we've won an end of day close above April-May resistance around the 1.5 pence level, but with the 50 and 200-day moving averages now rising and a decent bear trap rebound from below 130 at the beginning of the month, it looks as though the shares are on their way towards an implied target the top of last September's trend channel at 1.9 pence over the next couple of months. Lots of speculation on the bulletin boards regarding Frontera, both positive and negative. Current situation is that we finally bounced actually just above the old 0.37 floor in March. Multiple days there just above that level. Looks like that's the bottom of a rising trend channel in place since the early part of last year. Best case scenario target here, which obviously seems rather ambitious at the moment, towards 0.85 pence. If you're cautious on the stock, maybe you'd still wait for an end of day close above the 200-day moving average. That's rising there at 0.5 and shown in black, but the RSI is pushed above neutral 50, so it does suggest that we may finally be on our way, if only just to retest April resistance through 0.6 pence. Next up, an old favorite, Metal Tiger. And here we can see that we had the break through the 200-day moving average in May. A good support above the 200-day line, that's at 2.15. After that, with a higher low and a golden cross buy signal this week, which has led to a gap to the upside for today's session. Obviously, there's a bit of resistance there around the 2.8 pence level, so we want to see an end of day close above that. But the gap implies that people have been caught short of this stock, and we should see a move higher relatively soon. Top of the channel here towards 3.7, 3.8 pence over the next 2 to 3 months, and only really well below 2.5 pence now, calling the bull argument into question. Quadrise Fuels is next. Blast from the past, I would say. A rather brave call, I suppose, to say that the shares are back in business as a recovery play, but they have broken up above the 50-day moving average at 3.01 pence, shown there in blue, over the last few sessions, and there's a line of support there as well around around the 3 pence area. So at least while we're above rather 3 pence, the target here could be to fill that gap down from March and towards the 200-day line, just over 6 pence. But be cautious, maybe wait for 4 pence to be broken, which was the intraday spike so far for June. Going on to stock which I've never looked at before and wish I had, and that comes in the form of Shearwater Group. Beautiful vertical move here with the first time break above the 200-day moving average at the end of April. Then we had the classic sideways shuffle, which is a very bullish formation at and above former resistance, the initial 2018 resistance, and then right up there again with a gap to the upside. Another gap to the upside today, so it shows that there is plenty of momentum here. The view is that while we're above the intraday low of June, 5.11 pence, the target here could still be as high as 8.75 or even 9 pence at the top of this year's trend channel. So still maybe not too late to get onto the bullish momentum in that situation. Situation where people might be thinking it's a bit late now in terms of the upside here is Tern. Remember, we first called that higher around this area in April, around 8-9 pence, and as a mid-move consolidation, that was actually the first part of the move higher. And the next target then around 30 pence and then 40 pence, and it looks like there may be some gas in the tank even for a move as high as 50 pence over the next few sessions, especially with the gap to the upside we've seen today. Basically, one would be looking for that target to be hit over, as I said, the next week or so. Only back below 35 pence, which is basically just below today's gap, would even consider that the stock has run out of steam, or suggest that the stock has run out of steam. Another stock which has behaved rather well of late is Triad Group. Not the most liquid of situations, but we've had the golden cross buy signal after the break above the 200-day moving average last month. A wide rising trend channel here with an implied 100 pence target. That does seem a little bit ambitious at the moment, but at least while we're above the 65 pence zone, we could see moves towards, let's say, 80, 85 pence over the next week or two. 100 pence maybe on a 2 to 3 month time frame. Moving on to a couple of big favorites at the moment. Vela, where it looks as though we're in a continuation triangle, so holding on or consolidating ahead of a new leg to the upside, perhaps to retest the best levels of the year. Obviously, one would, if you're cautious on the stock, you want to see maybe a weekly close above the 200-day moving average, currently at 0.55 pence, before pressing the buy button. Only back below 0.4 pence, really an outright negative for this situation. And the star of the show, perhaps at the moment, even more than Tern, or as much as Tern maybe, is Versarien. Here we've had the vertical break through the 50-day moving average at the end of last month. Nice little consolidation there around the 100 pence level, and the gap higher last week. Best case scenario target now, one can stretch as far as 200 pence, at least while there's no end of day close back below the floor of the latest gap at 106 pence. And ideally, we have a pretty swift push higher through this 122 former 2018 peak, and we stay above that level on a weekly close on Friday. That's it from me. More at the same time tomorrow.